Title: The Weight of Wings. It's funny how the body can remember the sting of mockery, even years later. I can still hear their laughter, sharp and unforgiving, echoing in the back of my mind like a cruel melody. "You'll lose your mind, Abigail. You'll disgrace the family with your nonsense," they'd said. My own flesh and blood, the very people who were supposed to lift me up, had become my executioners. I remember the day I was fired. The church grounds had been alive with swarming flies and buzzing wasps, but not of the ordinary kind. They moved with purpose, as if orchestrated by some unseen force. I reported it to my boss, but he laughed, tossing my clipboard aside like it was a moth dusted in my own delusions. "You're seeing things, Abigail. Go home and take a break from your crazy ideas." That was the moment I knew I had to dig deeper. I turned to necromantic entomology, a field my family had deemed ridiculous. I immersed myself in ancient texts, dusty manuscripts filled with rituals that line the graves of forgotten cultures. I learned how insects were believed to guide souls, to feed the dead, to bridge the realm of the living and the departed. I became something they would never understand, and I welcomed it. Years passed, and the world outside my door faded as I delved deeper into my obsession. I lived in shadows, surrounded by jars of preserved insects and tattered books of lore. I was shunned, yes, but in my solitude, I discovered a truth so profound that it sent shivers through my spine. The swarms I had witnessed were not mere pests. They were harbingers of something far darker. I became known not as a disgrace, but as a warning for those who dared to ignore the whispers of the past. And now I found myself standing at the threshold of my childhood home. The air heavy with anticipation. They had invited me back, a curiosity piqued by my unexpected fame. I was no longer the crazy girl, but a respected scholar, albeit one who had danced too close to the flames of the unknown. "Welcome home, Abigail," my mother beamed, her smile stretched thin, like a mask she'd forgotten to remove. The living room was just as I remembered, cluttered with family photographs, trophies from my siblings' achievements, and the stale scent of neglect. "Thanks, Mom," I replied, forcing a smile that felt foreign. The warmth of the moment was quickly overshadowed by a chilling realization. They had no idea what I had become. As evening descended, I gathered the courage to unveil my findings. "I've discovered something remarkable," I began, but the words caught in my throat. How could I explain? Insects are more than mere pests. They're conduits to the dead. They carry memories, emotions, and horrors. The laughter came again, this time from my brother. "Sounds like you've really lost it." "Sis," he scoffed. Their eyes glinted with derision, and in that moment I felt the urge to flee. But I knew I couldn't. I had to show them the truth, the terror they had dismissed for so long. "Let me prove it," I insisted, rummaging through my bag until my fingers grazed the cool glass of a jar. Inside, a mass of dark, writhing flies buzzed frantically, as if sensing the tension in the room. These are not ordinary insects. They are the remnants of a ritual meant to commune with the dead. "Abigail, stop it," my mother warned, her voice trembling. But I couldn't stop. I needed them to see, to understand, to feel the weight of their disbelief. I released the jar. The flies swarmed out in a frenzy, a black cloud consuming the room. Panic spread through my family's eyes as they flailed, shouting in disbelief. "Get them away! What is happening?" But I stood still, a chilling calm settling over me. "This is what I've been trying to tell you. You mocked me, but now you will witness the truth. The flies descended upon my family, weaving in and out of their hair, crawling across their skin. They seemed to pulse with dark energy, an infestation of the very fears my family had laughed off. My mother screamed, her voice rising above the chaos, but it was drowned out by the buzzing, a cacophony of chaos that filled the air with dread. As I watched, a transformation unfolded. My family, once so dismissive, was now confronted with the horror I had unearthed. They writhed in panic, unable to escape the truth that had manifested before them. My brother collapsed to the ground, his cries muffled as the swarm engulfed him. It was then that I felt a pang of something deep within. Was it pity, or was it the bittersweet satisfaction of vindication? They had ridiculed my passion, but now they bore witness to the very thing they had dismissed as delusional. Finally, the swarm receded, leaving my family gasping for breath, their faces pale and haunted. "What did you do?" my mother whispered, her voice shaking. "I didn't do anything. You did this to yourselves," I replied, the weight of their disbelief now a heavy crown upon my head. In the aftermath, I gathered my things and prepared to leave, the air thick with unspoken truths. I glanced back at the remnants of my family, their eyes wide, their minds racing with the very horrors I had survived. They were no longer mocking, they were terrified, a reflection of the path I had taken. As I stepped outside, the night air wrapped around me like a shroud. I had faced the darkness, unearthing the hidden horrors of the world, and in doing so, I had become something they could never understand. I wasn't just an entomological occultist, I was a survivor of the ridicule, the mockery, the terror that came with knowing. And as I walked away, the weight of wings, the whispers of the dead followed me, a constant reminder that the truth, no matter how horrific, must always be confronted.